My name is Staffan Lindqvist. I am the CEO of the International Federation of Settlements, and I'm also the national coordinator for Sweden in the Fostering Social Justice project. And today we're going to hear some good examples on social inclusion from France and from Netherlands. But first, I would just say some basics about the project Fostering Social Justice that this is all about. In this 3-year-long project, we are 12 organizations from 11 European countries. The themes in this project is about non-formal education on active citizenship, migrant integration, and social inclusion. And in this project that is now coming to an end, there has been 17 study trips where 130 persons from the partner organizations have had the chance to study good examples on how to work on the themes. And now we want to disseminate some of these good methods. We have already had webinars on active citizenships and migrant integration, and today, as you know, on social inclusion. It is also possible to learn more from our experiences in the project at our website, and I have put the address to that in the chat if you're interested. Then we have one more important result of this project, and that is like an IFS white paper addressed mainly to EU authorities, where we outline our values, actions, our impact, our obstacles, and also give some policy recommendations. And this one will be presented at our final conference. That will be November 30th, and to the EU Parliament in Strasbourg the 1st of December. And you are all invited to take part in the conference the 30th, either in person in Strasbourg or virtually. And you will find the information on this conference also in the chat. So, and now over to today's program. We will start with a little presentation from France with Sophie Michelena. And after her presentations, you will have the chance to come up with some questions to her. You can also write questions in the chat, of course. And after that, there will be presentations from ENIC by Ineke Lindemann and Dylan Peters. And after that, you will have the chance to put up questions to them. And after that, there will be like discussions in breakout rooms. It will be, I guess, 2 groups, maybe. That where we can discuss about social inclusion, how we work with it, and what is most important to it. And then we come back again in the same room and get some review of what you thought was most important. So that is a program for the day. And so I leave the floor to Sophie. Please, Miss Sophie, can we see and hear your presentation?
Of course, Staffan. Thank you for the little in-joke. Yes, so Staffan and I have been working together for quite a while now, and I am his fellow coordinator on the IFSJ project, the IFS Fostering Social Justice project. So I'm the French coordinator, but I'm also the program coordinator. We were leading the program on behalf of the partnership. And my role at the Fédération des Centres Sociaux et Socioculturels de France, which is shortened for your pleasure into FCSF, is International Projects Manager and also Culture projects, and that started recently. But really, my role is to make sure that we link in very well with our colleagues in the world. So what I was going to do here today, a short presentation. Of course, if you have more you want to know about us, please get in touch later. But I'm going to talk about three things. First of all, the VFCSF, our federation. Then what we do and how we do social inclusion in France, which is how I've seen it being different from other countries in the project. And also two specific examples from the study visits in the IFSJ project that I want to detail for you. So here we go. And hello, this is a little hand to say hello. And now I'm hoping this presentation, there we go. Right, so this is a little slide to say to explain what our network is in France. We are probably one of the largest federations in the IFS at the moment, because we have more than 1,400 and now nearly 1,500 social centers everywhere in France, which are represented by our network. They don't necessarily apply to be direct members of our network. They apply to be members of local or regional federations. And we have 57 of these. So if you go on the right-hand side, you see 57 Fédérations et Unions Locales. So we are the national federation. There's only one of us. We federate all these local federations, and we represent, for the whole of France, 57,000 staff members and more than 100,000 volunteers. And you can see that in the little circles, we have 80% of our centers which are in urban areas and 20% that are in rural areas. This is just to show you that we have a lot more in cities. And the other important statistic is 70% ASSO. That means associations, or that means NGOs or community organizations, not run by the government. Only 26% are run by local authorities in different areas. So the vast majority are run by people who live in the areas where they are based. If you want to find out more, you've got the website here. And so this is our network. And then the next slide is all about a recent campaign where we actually are saying we are the biggest social network in France. We say that because we have a lot of people part of this network. That's our strength. The other thing we say, which I really like, I hope you like it too, is in this little video, this is our new communication campaign. And we say we invented social networks 100 years before Mark Zuckerberg. So that's one of our little taglines, which I think is very good, because that means we are really on the ground doing social network, and we have been doing it for a long time. I'm not going to talk about this slide, but I just wanted to show you the amount of things that social centers do in France, from sports to culture, to activities, to the welcoming the old, the very young, everything really. We just pride ourselves on helping everyone and being where people are. We tend to say that we have three different types of activities, though, if we have to help organize them. So the first one is activities and services in the community. So you can come in and get an activity for you or for your family. The second one is project support. That means if people in an area want to do something, they can come along and we can help them make that project happen, that collective project. And the other thing, which is really interesting, is all the citizenship support. That is when people want to mobilize on an issue or a problem or something they like about their area, that they want to do more, and they want to debate, they want to create a campaign locally, and we can help them do that as well. So these are the 3 dimensions, but the main 3 values we want to talk to you about today, which are important to us, is human dignity, solidarity, and democracy. So I think that really explains why we do social inclusion quite a lot in our network, but I will come to that. I've tried to think about what makes us a bit unique, what makes us, how do the French do the social inclusion in their network? First of all, it's an open door to the centers, so anybody can come through the door. It's not just for the young, for the elderly, etc. You don't come because you have a problem. You come because you want to be part of a social center. It's all ages, many topics. We facilitate social links. And one of the words that comes back all the time is conviviality. So we do a lot of things with food and with getting together and festivals and parties and things like that. It's sort of something we do naturally in the network. I was very interested in that when I came back from England and I saw that things were different in France. So I hope you are as well. The other thing that I think is really important, since I've gone around all the social centers and the federations, is participation, which for me is inclusion. So we think that if people are going to feel included, they need to participate. They cannot be done to. It cannot be an activity that is done to them. They need to bring something to it. So we take the first principle, anybody can bring their ideas to the activities, and we help facilitate things rather than just give services to people that we think they need. The other thing that's interesting is local people can become members of the local social center. So I was recently talking to a social center with 1,000 members in their area, and these are local people like you and me. And finally, when people are members or people take part in activities, they can volunteer, to help do a new activity or to help do that activity better. So they can become involved themselves in the running of an activity. And then they can become board members, which means they can be running the organization and making strategic decisions if they are elected by the members of the organization. So it's sort of a ladder of participation from being part of an idea to do an activity, then to become a member, then maybe to become a volunteer, to a board member. And we think that that is empowerment, and it helps you feel like part of something and part of society more in order, to feel less excluded and more part of things. So this is generally now that I'm talking about. And now in the project Social Justice, we showed 2 specific tools or methodologies that we wanted to highlight. Here is the first one. In this link that you will be able to click through, you will come to the full tool form that you can read again and say, oh, right, I'd like to do that at home. You can actually read the description of this tool. We call it the Wheel of Collective Action. So it's all about helping people who come with an individual concern or a problem into collective projects. How do we make something that can be an issue turn into an action in a way? And we say that we had noticed that traditionally people go to our centers just to get services or activities. But this does not help them feel part of something bigger. So this method helps us think about together, how could we do something and feel part of the same project? So in 2021, we showed this, and we have English versions of all these materials. We think so first of all, it's training the social workers or the workers, the facilitators, to help a group. But also, of course, the beneficiaries are the residents that will benefit from this tool. We think it can be applied to anybody and any activities and any organizations in our network. So you might think, okay, this is interesting, let's have a look. And this is what it looks like. I won't go through it in detail, but really the worker is at is at the start, or it's not at the start, sorry, it's at the center of the process. The worker gets trained, and really the first step is listening. The first step to making somebody feel included, we think, is listen to them. Then if there is a concern or a need, then we can get people to meet with other people who have the same need or issue. And then we can help them. This is the group step. We can help them define what is happening. Why is this an issue? What could we do about it? This is the green side. And then here, red or green, pink even, pink is where we turn things into action. This is action in public space step. So how do we do this? Well, we help them actually do something in the public space. There is an example of a collective of mothers who were saying that there was not good enough education in a suburb of a big town, in a big city in France. And they came to us with that same problem, and a facilitator at the start of it gathered them together, found some help for them, and then they did a campaign on the streets, and it was filmed, and they spoke to their local officials about this. So we can help people turn things into action so they don't feel left behind. So that's one big project that we showed through the Fostering Social Justice program. And the other one was more recent, and and Laura, I know from Finland, was there. It was about outreach work. This was about, for me, it was key to realize that we cannot and should not wait for people to come and participate in the activities or in the centers that are already there. Basically, the social centers also realize they do not reach everybody that's out there and that might feel excluded by society. So this type of activity is all about going where the people live, where the people hang out. It could be in their blocks of flats. It could be on the public park. It could be on the street, and talking to them in their area about what might be important to them. So what the people who came to see this type of work from Europe said is, they realized, these are the quotes at the bottom, the employees and volunteers are truly interested in meeting the people and listening to their worries and their thoughts. And they said local people are aware of local problems and their voices need to be heard more. And also some people said we need new ideas how to face people, how to involve them in different activities, and in the long run, how to strengthen local democracy. And finally, somebody said people who feel heard and seen are less prone to fall for more right-wing politicians, which was interesting. We know there is more right-wing populism at the moment, and we think that including people and listening to them is part of them not feeling excluded, and that they need to resort to extreme means to get their voices heard. So this was a trip in Brittany. We went through 3 different towns, and I'm going to try and show you a very 1-minute video of this, and then I will literally just close my presentation. So let me hopefully try and share this successfully. And I'm nearly there, Okay, here, this should be working now. This was the trip we made in Brittany to different centers.
I learned about the circle of DPA, I mean développement du pouvoir d'agir, and regarding closely this whole outreach activity, you should go there where people really are.
I did the presentation to our...
This is Laura. If you want to hear more from Laura, she can speak to you later.
There, I had to tell about we should find new ways to meet people, and also it is our... We have many activities, many kind of services we are providing to people, but how much do we really meet and ask people what they are, what they want. And now we have at least a bike.
Laura actually went to buy a bike when she came back to go where the people really were. And I'll just do one last.
In the council meetings.
I think I want to hear from Davo.
But they organized, or they tried to organize groups of people come together and debating about difficult subjects in the neighborhoods. But because of the places and the difficulty that people deal with every day, it was difficult to reach those people. But the patience and the being willing to endure being insulted and hearing no all the time and no, but keep coming back and having a really long breath in and trust in building this process that I found really inspiring and touching. Giving people the opportunity to be heard and give them space to share their opinions and views, that it can help finding some middle ground and not being inclined to grow more extremist.
Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato l'invaso.
And that was Bella Ciao ending our video. The video is actually longer, but I just want to finish with 2 slides and then I will pass over back to Staffan. My last 2 slides are about, there are other materials about social inclusion. All you have to do is to go on this link. It says social inclusion on the IFS network page, and you have about 8 or 10 different articles that talk about this. So not just this one. And just finally, I wanted to leave you with something I found yesterday on the Erasmus Plus platform. And I thought it was interesting because this is how the Erasmus Plus program considers inclusion. And they also give some financial support to help include people who they say have fewer opportunities. And I thought it might be interesting to reflect on that. You can see the list on the right. I'll read them out quickly. Cultural differences, disability, economic obstacles, educational difficulties, geographical obstacles, health problems, migrant background obstacle, other reasons, and social obstacles. I thought this could maybe help us think about it in this webinar, and you'll have my contact details and we'll pass them on. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for this presentation, Sophie. It was most interesting. So now I wonder if there is someone who wants to ask Sophie about something. Then I can do it. One discussion that we have had quite much in Sweden is how open really these meeting places are for everybody, if everyone really think that it's open for them, so to say. So therefore we have had quite a discussion on to have like exclusive activities and opening days for vulnerable groups, for example, LGBTI persons, because when we are saying that our activities is open for all, some people don't feel really included, and they don't really feel that this maybe is not like really a safe place for them. But one way of doing that is to have like exclusive days and activities for them. How do you think, is this something that you have been discussed also in France?
We have discussions about this, but they are not at the front of our thinking. At the moment, it's very much still in our network thought as inclusion means everybody together. It goes in our culture and it goes in with the school system and a lot of things. So I know it's different in different networks, but unless Anouk wants to correct me, it's people are just starting to think about different spaces for different people, but it's not really there yet in our network.
Thank you. Is there any other comments or questions to Sophie?
Maybe, and do you reach also people with other mother tongues or people with handicaps in your groups?
Yes, definitely. We are part of a very, very big national campaign called Le Français pour tous, French for everyone, French language for everyone, sorry. So we do a lot of French language lessons in our social centers. So there is a lot of people coming to our centers for those and then to have activities together, of course. And yes, there are, of course, anybody can come. The centers are all disabled access, you know.
We have that too. We have also classes for German for people from other countries, but we don't manage to join people with handicaps to people coming to the German classes, for example. They won't
You mean
meet
the two together?
Yeah, together.
Ah, wow.
Yeah.
That might be maybe a communication thing, because it sounds like that could happen, and your centers are open.
Does it happen in France?
Does it happen in France? You're asking me if we have non-French speakers who are disabled who come to our activities. I cannot say for sure, but I imagine yes.
Okay.
I don't work in a social center, so I cannot tell you. Sorry, Verena.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yves, do you know, actually, hein, dans le centre social, est-ce qu'il y a des gens qui sont handicapés et qui ne parlent pas français première langue qui viennent vous voir?
Actually, yes, we have a couple of disabled people who are not French first language, and so they are accepted.
Also,
and
French-speaking disabled people mingling with people from Algeria, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. We have some from Kosovo, and they are using the center as a place to meet others, but also to do the administrative stuffs, and we also help them to educate the kids, because there are 4 families with 8 or 9 children for each family, and so we propose some programs for helping them with their scholar stuff, but also to have some activities with their parents and with the others. They came for in our traveling days or stuff like that. So yes, and yeah, we do a lot.
Thank you. Is there any more comments on this or questions to Sophie? Then I think we go on to the Netherlands and the ENIC presentation. So Enneke and Dylan, please present yourself and the work you are doing in ENIC.
Yes. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. That's good. First of all, thank you for joining this webinar about social inclusion. We have been joining this project from the start, and my role in this project was a little bit coordinating, because the one who was supposed to coordinate, she fell out, so I took over together with Dylan, and we both been to strategic seminars and both been on study visits. So we have experienced the whole project at its fullest, I think. So that was good. It's a beautiful project, and it was good to join. And we learned a lot about the topics we are talking about today. And today it's about social inclusion, how we do that at our organization. Dylan, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Yes, like Ineke, I'm also a coordinator of one of the places where we have a recovery college. Actually, where I'm now is one of the first place that we built this recovery college. But I also facilitating as myself with my own experience in peer support. So that's what I do. So let's start.
Yes, thank you, Dylan. First of all, we're going to show you a video. There's going to be subtitles, and please let me know if you cannot hear or read the subtitles.
Goedemorgen. Ineke is een plek waar iedereen welkom is. Je kunt hier door middel van de activiteiten die we organiseren werken aan je eigen herstel. Maar je bent natuurlijk ook altijd welkom om gewoon een kopje koffie te komen drinken.
There are some Dutch subtitles. I cannot change the subtitles. Wait.
No.
Yes, here it is.
Oh,
yes.
Well done.
Yes, I knew it was there, so we're just gonna go.
Great.
Yes.
Goedemorgen. Ineke is een plek waar iedereen welkom is. Je kunt hier door middel van de activiteiten die we organiseren werken aan je eigen herstel. Maar je bent natuurlijk ook altijd welkom om gewoon een kopje koffie te komen drinken.
Er komen hier bijvoorbeeld mensen met psychische stoornis, depressie, trauma, burn-out, psychose. Voor steun, hoop of om dingen te leren hier. Of zoals ik vandaag, als vrijwilliger in de keuken bij Ineke.
Het idee is dat de deelnemers zich beter kunnen ontwikkelen binnen een warme en veilige omgeving, waarin het draait om gelijkwaardigheid en wederkerigheid, zonder artsen en hulpverleners.
Ineke heeft mij veel meer zelfvertrouwen gegeven.
Ineke is een totaalconcept op basis van peer support. Het belangrijkste onderdeel van Ineke is het zelfhulpprogramma. Daarnaast hebben we ook een sociaal trefpunt waarin mensen elkaar kunnen ontmoeten, een bakje koffie drinken, wat lekkers erbij, gewoon een goed gesprek hebben met elkaar op basis van peer support, op gelijkwaardigheid.
Ineke is uniek als trainingscentrum waar ervaringskundigen werken. Je kunt heel makkelijk je verhaal delen en je vindt heel makkelijk gehoor.
En we hebben een retreatprogramma, dat is een intensieve herstelweek waarin mensen een week binnen Ineke kunnen verblijven en een extra boost aan hun herstel kunnen geven.
Dankzij de webretreat heb ik structuur kunnen geven aan mijn leven in Nederland weer. Toen ik vanuit de crisis vanuit Engeland in Nederland landde. En heb ik heel veel kunnen delen van mijn ervaringen vandaar. En ben ik weer op de been gekomen.
En wat Ineke nou zo uniek maakt en bijzonder is dat het voor 100% gerund wordt door peers.
Ineke biedt een mogelijkheid om hier dingen te leren om uiteindelijk verder te groeien tot een ervaringsdeskundige, een peerworker, een peer supporter. Of überhaupt om te leren voor de groep te staan, aangezien ik zelf een game workshop geef over gaming en psyche samen.
Het geeft mij de mogelijkheid om zelf iets te ontwikkelen. Zoals deze ruimte om later een mindfulness training in te geven.
En zo bouwen we verder. Hier in Hoograven zijn we nu dus 4 jaar. En vorig jaar zijn we gestart in Overvecht. En we willen meer Eeniken in de hele regio.
Okay, I will try to get the next sheet. Doesn't work. Yes, there he is. Dylan.
All right, I will start with this sheet. When you see a person, my sense of self, do I feel part of a society? We see lots of people who are coming to ENIC are lost the self, the sense of self. People lost the connection with the society. People got mental ill, don't know anymore what to do. And ENIC is a place where you can make a connection again with the society and sharing your own experience in this part of mental health with people who are working here and participate in the program. So it's both sides, you know, people got disconnect with the society and they come to ENIC to make a start to connect again with the society and to be with people who had the same experience and recover of that experience. Ineke?
Sorry, Ineke, your sound.
Oh, okay. Yes, there I am again. I have to switch screens. Thank you, Dylan. ENIC is a total concept. It is a international-based concept. It's all over the world. It's known, but we have like a different type of concept because we have. Here you can see the house. We have like also have a social living with students. We have the college that is our learning program, and we have the retreat where you can stay at our location for few 4 nights. And we have like the meeting place where we have like the peer support. We are an ethic-based organization, and we have our peer ethics. That is how we present ourselves and do our jobs. I don't know if you can read this, but this is also the building blocks of peer support, self-help, and participation. We are a recovery college. That means that we are learning from, Dylan told us before, learning from each other. We are sharing our own experience with all types of disruptions we had in life. And we also are community-based because ENIC is also in the center of society, and we work with all kinds of organizations to work on stigma, to work on support in social context. So we are working together to have the whole system to work on recovery for people who are struggling with mental health problems. That doesn't mean that people who do not struggle are not joining our recovery college, but because we are peer support, we are based on sharing our own experience. People who don't have that struggle, they are not excluded. Everybody is welcome, but they can join in a different way. Maybe they can join as a volunteer, maybe. I'm going to go to the next slide, Dylan.
Yeah, what we do at our recovery college, we do on self-help and peer support, and self-help, the activity of providing what you need for yourself and others with similar experience of difficulties without going to an official organization. So people don't need to register somewhere. People just can come in and support program of do with the program. Peer support, when people with lived experience share this experience with others to provide knowledge, experience, emotional, social, or practical help to each other. So you see, when people come here together and sharing stories, there will be start new contacts with each other and new networks for each other. Yeah.
Thank you. The biggest thing we have is our educational program, and our program is the program is free of cost, so we don't exclude anyone. We want to be as exclusive as you can be, or inclusive, I have to say. The courses are developed by peers in co-creation and co-production. It's the same as Sophie told before. We are a question-based organization. The themes that are living amongst all the participants are, they are developed also in courses, so people can share their own experience and develop courses with their own themes. They are led by 2 peer support facilitators. Normally it's like a paid peer support facilitator and a volunteer peer support facilitator, because we have the same system that you can work yourself. You can be a participant, then you can be a volunteer peer support facilitator, then you can grow into different roles at ENIC Recovery College, so you can grow into different things. And we try to have a recognition, reciprocity, inspiration, hope, and perspective for the future because of our educational program. Those are the most important values for our educational program, because learning is really gives all these types of things.
Maybe it's a good thing to know that we are a diagnosis-free environment. So lots of people with mental challenges in their life, they get some diagnosis from some doctors or some hospital. We don't do on that language, because we believe about more what you can do to live happy than what it's mean to have you diagnosed. That's what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Dylan.
At the Recovery College, you are participant, student, or peer support facilitator. Everyone who's coming here into the door, we see someone as a student. Someone wants to learn something, and what he wants to learn, that is on his self. You are equal to all who participate. You create your own learning course through your own insight and interests. So we see also when participants follow some courses, later they will develop their own courses with their own theme, and they can participate again in the program. You make new friends. That's very important to get that connection back with the society, and you receive a certificate at the end of a course.
Thank you. We see education as a power tool for recovery, and there's a more saying, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And we try to do that, and we try to learn from each other. We don't try to educate the people who are coming how to live their lives. We try to learn from each other, so everyone can decide for themselves what they want to learn at their courses.
Now, social inclusion at ENIC, participation is completely voluntary, being part of the ENIC community, and you are accepted unconditionally as a unique and special person, including acceptance or diversity of culture, ethnicity, language, religion, gender, age, disability, sexual identity, and ability. So everyone, actually we always tell everyone can come here. just sharing your own experience, life experience, mental health experience, society experience. So everyone we try to welcome here. Yeah.
The results of participation, you can see a positive change within attitude and skills. Participants become empowered. I heard this before at Sophie's presentation. I was like, yeah, but that's the thing with social inclusion and participation. If you participate in something, you are empowered, and we see a lot of positive change with our participants. We see a lot of growth also. And we are an active part in the neighborhoods we are located at. We have some locations. I think we have 8 locations, not all own locations, but some locations are inside of a building, and we are with different organizations in the building, and they are doing some other things with society. So we are trying to be more inclusive and not be only our own island, but more inclusive with to work with other organizations.
And so, and what we also do, we want to make connection with the neighborhood, because the neighborhood people can think very stigma about your mental health and people with mental health, and now we make lots of connections also with the neighborhood. They can eat and drink here, so you see also that we participate with the neighborhood against stigma, so that they know what we do.
Yes, yeah, and we learn and inspire each other on the road to recovery. That's also saying. I don't know if we have a little bit more time, because I want to share a little bit of our website to give an insight about our program. We have a diverse program. Can you see the website?
It's all Dutch.
Yeah, that doesn't matter, because I can translate. You can see we have a big educational program. We have the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. That's a personal plan for your own mental well-being. You can tell about your own recovery during lunch. We have a experience cafe that's for young adults. They can share and discover and connect with their own group, with their own peers. We have types of building on intimacy, the way to self-compassion, the courage to be. So we have a lot of different types of learning programs, so you can have an idea of what our program means, and it's all been facilitated with people who have their experience with this team. So we have mindfulness, and the one who's facilitating the mindfulness has his own experience with mindfulness and his own recovery, so he's sharing about that. So that's an insight, and I think this was our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Are there any questions?
Well, I have one question. Thank you very much. It's very impressive, the work you are doing at ENIC. I have been visiting you, and it is really fantastic. I have one question. You were talking about this diagnose-free environment, and that is because this is also a big discussion in Sweden, because it is very common that children get diagnosed, and the good thing with it is, I guess, that when they are diagnosed, then they have the right to have certain support in school. But maybe the negative thing could be that they sometimes becomes their diagnose, so to say. And it would be interesting to hear your ideas about this.
Yeah. Stefan, that is what we see a lot, that when people visit us, some of the people, they were hospitalized for years. And then they come by us, and we don't talk about the diagnosis, but we talk about what do you want in life and how do you get your dreams and ambition in life. So actually we want to put them away from the diagnosis and let's see them what is in the world and what you can do for yourself to support yourself or to get in recovery. And we don't forbid that someone talks about his diagnosis. It can be, but we as a facilitator, as workers, we put the attention more on daily life, on dreams and ambition, on that we believe in recovery. We believe that you can have a good life for a long time. And it's where we focus on.
I think that sounds very healthy and good. Is there any other comment or question to Dylan and Ineke? I was also thinking, how does people get to know about the possibilities at EDIC? How do you reach out to those?
Okay. I think that's different types of ways. We now we have the last few years I've been working really hard to do a little bit about marketing. You know, it's mental health, so marketing and mental health, they don't go together. So you have to just go be at network events and be in contact with the how do you say, the first line, you know, the doctors, the first line, they have to know that you are there. The mental health institutions, you are just going to do presentations, and it's just old-fashioned way. You just go to where the people you want to deliver your product to, you have to go there. So just the old-fashioned way, I guess. And we do a lot of presentations to social worker teams, professional teams, psychiatrists, psychologists. We do a lot of that. So yeah, that's how we are. And it's like first it was like mouth to mouth. You know, it's like a snowball. You know, people are telling about ANIC, and now we are just like a little bit more professional way, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, and I also thinking, Stefan, in Holland, there is a kind of we do lots of research on this concept. And because we do research, it's evidence-based that recovery college works for people who want to work on their recovery. So it's getting people know now about more. So so people want to know now also more, okay, recovery college, what it is and how it works.
Yes, Eve.
Yes, I wanted to know if ENIC is a single place, or is there a lot of ENIC places all over the country? I don't know.
It's a good question, Yves. We started 8 years ago here in the city of Utrecht as the first ENIC. It's a big ENIC, but Utrecht is big. It's a big region with different kind of villages. So we have now more ENICs in the region. So we also want that people get access to other ENICs, because sometimes they have to travel far. So we want that people also don't have to travel a far way to an ENIC to work on recovery or mental health. So now we have 8 ENICs in the region, but you see in the whole country of Holland, in lots of cities, they want the same concept. So you see growing in Holland, yeah.
How is it with the ages on the people that are coming to ENIC? Is it
That's
like...
that's a good question, Stefan. Thank you. We can offer service from the age of 18, and we realize ourselves that we kind of exclude people who are younger. But it's very difficult because when we work with younger people, we have some responsibility because they are not adults. So it's very complicated to offer this service to young people under 18. And we don't have a solution yet till now, but maybe in the future we can organize something.
Now you see different type of things that you're struggling with. I work a lot with the young adults from 18 till 28, 30. And that's a different type of group at ENIC, and they are struggling with different types of mental health problems. And so they are talking about different themes. They have experienced different things. And if you go younger, then they don't want to talk about it because we are just talking about our own experiences. And if you're from 10 till 18, that's not the age you are talking. It's more an age you are doing. So you have to have a different approach and have to, so maybe that peer support or the way we are doing our concept is not working for that age. Next to that, it's also a financial thing. You know, youth financial stops at 18 and then from 18 till you're older. So that's also a different type of mental health financial structure.
Okay. No, we are not so many. Sophie, you were about to put us into groups, but maybe it's enough with one group.
It could be if you want to stay 7 of us, or I could make 2 groups of 3. It's up to you, Staffan.
I think it would be nice when we, I don't know, when we stay together. Yeah.
Let's stay together.
Yeah. So it would be, because you had one question, Ineke and Dylan, that was like, which one of our values is most important to you personally, was your question. Is it hope, equivalence, reciprocity, empowerment, or involvement? I guess all of them are important, but I guess your question was if there was something special, or was it like that, Ineke?
I share the...
Yeah, great.
Which one of our values is most important to you personally? It's just a question for the people who are just joining this webinar. Maybe they want to share about which one of the values is most important, and they can share it in the chat or just verbally.
Mm-hmm. Is there anyone who wants to step forward and say something? I would say it feels quite much as they are very connected.
Yes,
all these things. You can't do one thing without the other, so to say.
That's true. Yeah.
For me, I think empowerment is very important, and not only individual empowerment, but collective empowerment to get stronger together is important. But of course, that is also connected to hope and involvement and reciprocity.
Thank you, Stefan. Yeah, they are very connected to each other for me because I need involuntarily, I need to be included in something to get also hope and then get empowered. So at first I need, and I see also my work here, when we have groups, it's very important to facilitate that space of involuntarily.
Yeah, I agree, Dylan. And just in case we have people who are a little bit shy in speaking, I'm going to set up a little poll that they can just click and tell us which one is the most important thing for them without necessarily having to speak. They can still be involved. I'll see if it works. Hopefully you'll have a poll that you can answer.
Yes, we can see. Thank
I'm
you.
just trying it out just to see if people have an idea. Only one person still to reply, but that means 5 out of 6 have replied, which is good. I'll give 10 more seconds and we can see the results. So that's it. 3, 2, 1. Let's see what it's like. Can you see the results?
Yes, we can see that. Yeah.
Great.
So
I,
open involvement.
Yeah,
Win.
I have the same as Stefan. You know, you cannot see the one without the other, but it depends on what kind of situation or mood I'm in. Which one is most important to me? Normally, I'm not. For me today or just now, this period I'm in, for me is hope now really important, and normally it is not, but sometimes you are in a situation in life that yeah. So for me now is hope is more important than all the other ones. So that's what I wanted to share.
Maybe I can share too. It was for me also hope. I have a history with my daughter, which has also a history of a different psychiatric diagnosis and a very difficult history also with drug abuse. And for me, it was always hope very important, not to lose it and not to see that, not to lose the sight that there is always a possibility to heal for a person. Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful. Thank you, Verena.
Yeah, thank you for that. We have any more comments on it? What is the most important thing, would you say, yeah, it can be any of you, when you are receiving people in your centers or at ENIC? What do people really need? Because, okay, I can say in my experience from working in a center, that was everything start with creating these relations, that to be together with others in a bigger group, that is like number one, because before you can do anything else. But I don't know about your experience.
I think it's equivalent, Dylan. Maybe it's the way we are approaching one another. We are it's equivalent that we are try to I don't know how to say uitdragen, try to be how we want to be as workers, I guess.
Yes, I think the one important thing is when people come into the door by me, that I always say to my colleagues and to my volunteers, meet the people at the moment where they are, because someone is coming in, and that's the moment where you meet someone. So from that start, you make contact and you see where it's going on. But you must meet the people at the moment where they are, because when you don't, you will respect something from the other person, and maybe the other person is not there yet. So that's very important when I work here and I meet someone that I think, okay, at this moment I meet you and this is what it is at this moment. So I want to listen. That's very important for me. So I'm teaching my workers, don't respect that someone do things that you would like to. No, someone is at the moment where he is here. Yeah.
Yeah. I also have this experience in the neighborhood center that people coming to this place have a big wish to be connected with others. Yeah, in the neighborhood center I work, we have mostly people from Arabic countries and from Turkey, also from Ukraine, coming to the neighborhood center and living now in Vienna. They all have this sense of loss, and they have this sense of disconnection with their families, with their countries, with people in general. And they have to find now a place where they see they are welcome, because most places here in Vienna are not so welcoming to them. Yeah.
Mm.
Another thing that I've been experiencing is that in the center that where I was working, it was very, for the people who were coming to the place, it was very much like a family. It was very warm and it close togetherness, but and that was good for everyone who was in, so to say. But it was a little bit more difficult for people who was coming from the outside to get in, because the more family-like and the more included in the center were, the harder it seemed to be coming from the outside and get into the. So that was always like a balance, because of course you want people to really feel included and have a strong sense of togetherness, but you still also want new people to come in. So I remember that we experienced that as, yeah, it was a question of balance, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree with you, Stefan, and I have to say that in my social center, just to include new people and to make them come to us, we used to organize some breakfasts or diners. So the people who doesn't have the habits to come and see us and to just see what we are doing, they come, because as Sophie says, in France, if you have something to eat and something to drink, you have people with coming. So we attracted them, and so we bought a bike where we can. How do you say that, Sophie? Une crêpière.
Wow, a pancake maker on a bike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but a French pancake, maker. And so we go on the cycling road, because we have a cycling road near our social center, and so we just go and cycling and stop, and we are selling our pancakes, our crepes, and in the same times we are talking about what we are doing in the social center, and so it facilitates the new arrivants thing.
Sounds like a very good way of doing it.
If I agree with you that also at ENIC we must find ways to how connect, and also what kind of a way someone is learning or want to connect. We have the same with dinners and food, but we also have some animals here like goats and pigs. And because some people are not coming to our courses because they are too busy in the head, but they can work with the animals and they are feel included because they take care about the animals of ENIC. So we want to learn them that we are very happy with the volunteers or the participants, that they take responsibility to taking care about the animals or taking care about the food or the drinks. And I think it's very important, and maybe Ineke you agree with, but we as workers here, we always aware of when something happened in excluding, and then we go in discussion with the participants of the volunteer where, listen, this is not how we do it at ANIC. What's happened now? And can we talk about it? Like I have a person here, he's coming every morning at 8 o'clock, and he's just sitting here downstairs and have some food, and now he is responsible for the music. You know, on one day I said, would you like to take care about the music? He said, oh yeah. So I include him in the system of ANIC because everyone was looking like, that's a weird person, what he's doing, where he's come from. Now that's not how we work. Someone is welcome, and we try to include someone into the ANIC system.
Community is probably a better word, but yeah, I was saying I loved the atmosphere and the vibe there from the minute you go in to the minute you go out. Amazing, great people from everyone involved.
I absolutely agree with you, Sophie.
It sounds like Eve and Verena and others, and Anouk need to go there one day.
Okay, do we have any more comments on this?
I have a question, what's in my head. I don't know how it's for you all is, but how you can keep these organizations or this, how do you call it? Entities, how call it, how, you know, like we see that we are growing, but because we are growing, there are lots of people who think about it and about the money and how we can do that. And you know what I mean? How you keep this kind of projects to keep them safe and not after a couple of years they are gone. You know what I want to mean to tell you? I think it's very difficult.
It is. And I think we all have experienced this. When it comes to this fostering social justice, I do have quite good hope, though, because one of the results is that we have created this European Federation of centers, and it all comes from this fostering social justice project. And now we have a kickoff in connection to this final conference I talked about earlier. And I'm quite convinced, and I hope that we will keep on and build on what we already achieved in the project. What do you think, Sophie, because you are the manager?
Oh, I don't know if Dylan, you're talking about keeping on exchanging altogether and keeping to our values and not being taken somewhere else. I think being part of an international community that shares and can help you reflect. You know, sometimes we are very much stuck in our work, in our organization, in our countries. Everything is about this. But when you just take a bit of time, whether that's internationally or maybe in your country, but you take yourself out, you know, on an away day to make sure that you stay true to your value. I think that's important. But yeah, if you say this, Dylan, and you hear Verena and Vienna say, yes, I know what you mean, and Staffan say, yes, then we need to make space to talk about these things. And maybe another webinar is, how do we stick to our values when we have economic challenges? Maybe that's another webinar, and we can make that happen for free because we're all here and we can just make it happen whenever we want to. So it's about being responsive to what people want to talk about, a bit like you at ANIC, but we can do it internationally with each other as colleagues.
I think it is a big challenge or a problem when the societies are more and more what do you call it, liberal. You let the private companies put the agenda, and there is like that kind of logic around what you are doing, that it should be profitable in some way, money-wise. I think we shouldn't go in that trap and keep on and adapt that way of thinking. We need to stand up for our values and our way of seeing what is valuable for people and for the society.
Yeah, and I believe that we as a society, we have the big responsibility to take care about people around us who are excluded. We have to take them in or in again. We have a responsible of that. And I think sometimes in the world where we live, or the society where we live, the chances that you forgot and just what you said, Stefan, just think, okay, this is my table, but we have so many more tables where people can sit on. So yes, I agree. Yeah.
Okay. If someone has anything more to say, so say it now. Or I finish this webinar by saying that you, once again, that you are all welcome to take part of the conference, the 30th of November. I think it could be most valuable. You can be there virtually. And I did put a link in the beginning of the chat where you can find more information about this. And also, I think the link that Sophie gave you is also possible to reach it that way. So I just want to thank everyone who participated, and especially, of course, Dylan, Enike, and Sophie, who made such wonderful presentations.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
for
be
hosting,
welcome in
Stefan.
Holland.
Thank you.
You're always welcome.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.